So that happened. Okay, let's just get it out now. Let's just get it out now. Guys, Triss is dead. 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 So let's talk about Allegiant. Let's talk about, first of all, the things that I liked. There was a lot of things I liked about this book. This is going to be like a really flat review, and I'm just apologizing for that right now because, guys, I just finished the book 30 minutes ago. So this is just raw. Just letting you see my pain. Because I feel like we're, kin in the way that we both obsess over people that aren't real. I just feel like one day all the fans are going to be locked up. And they'll probably be really like, I don't know, kind and lock us up with people that like the same things so that we can all be sick together. Oh no, that's what the internet's for. Never mind. One of the things I liked about Allegiant was the fact that we got Tobias's point of view. I was reading the first chapter and then I read the second chapter and I went, oh my gosh, Tobias is in here. I mean, he's already been in the book, but I really like him. So yeah, Tobias got his time. I was really happy. But then when I realized what happened at the end of the book, I realized that was a plot device to make sure that the story continued on after Triss died. So that kind of bit into my happy dance. What a buzzkill. I also really enjoyed the character development that was in this book. I mean, Triss died. I realize I'm devastated as well. I get it. But Tobias, he really developed. Triss developed. I mean, when she died, it was time. It was time for her to go. Like, she died whole. She had come to terms with everything that had happened with her parents. She had come to terms with everything that had happened, with Caleb. I also really enjoyed the contrast between Evelyn and Marcus in this book at the end. I feel like in Insurgent, Veronica Roth kind of held them up as the same person. That didn't happen in this book. In the end, Evelyn chose Tobias. And she chose to save everyone in the city, even if that meant that she wasn't in charge anymore. Which is the complete opposite of what Marcus did. And I really liked that. I liked that Evelyn was redeemed. I really want to thank Veronica Roth for writing this beautiful novel about grief and healing, which is something that I know a lot about. I don't know if you know this or not, but my parents are both dead. I lost my mom to lung cancer a couple years ago, and then the year before that I lost my dad to stomach cancer. Both completely different situations because my dad was a lot like Marcus, and my mom was a very strong woman like Evelyn. So, yeah, so very different situation, but both very full of grief and anger and hurt and frustration. And I get it. And I feel like YA novels need to breach the subject of grief and the healing process that comes after grief. They need to do that more often. And I'm really grateful that Veronica Roth did that for this series. These were very heavy themes all the way back to Divergent. And I didn't talk about it last time in my Insurgent review because there just wasn't any time because I had so many other things to talk about. But we're going to talk about it now because a lot of really important people died in this book. So what I learned after I went through my initial grief was that when someone that you love, that you really, like, they're pivotal to your existence as a human being, a parent, a sibling, a lover, whatever, your best friend, I don't know, whatever role they have in your life is really super significant to you. When you lose them, you lose yourself because your identity was so closely tied to that person. And we don't talk about this. We don't talk about this in our schools. We don't talk about this in our churches or our temples. And we don't talk about this in society. But I love that there are things like the Divergent series that can stand in that gap and talk about those things for us because it's so important, especially for teenage readers, because a lot of teenagers go through some really awful things. Like, if you would have told me that I would have lost both of my parents by the age of, I think, 20, I would have told you were crazy. But it happened. Totally happened. And I had to start the very long process of grief. I loved, probably my favorite quote in the whole book was Tobias at the end when he said, "Change, like healing, takes time." Okay, and the part when Triss is dying and her mom shows up. To welcome her home. That part was very special to me. I'm sorry, guys. I knew I was going to cry during this review. I was just going to bring up a lot of stuff, but whatever. I want to be real with you because I hope that, if you subscribe to my channel, that I can be honest with you and you can be honest with me. I know that, it's dumb, like I'm just staring at a camera right now, but I know that there's people behind the camera that are going to watch the content that I make, and I'm not an expert at this, but I know that the best content is one that's honest. See what I did there? That was a Candor reference. So when I was going into reading this book, I was really excited because the cliffhanger, like I said, in Insurgent was fantastic. And then they opened it up and they were all like imprisoned, and they were forming the Allegiant faction, and which I guess is a faction, maybe. I don't know. And then they were so desperate to get outside the gate to see what the answer was. And I was so excited because I so desperately wanted to see what the answers were. The whole gene thing. I did not know that this was going to be a commentary on nature versus nurture. But what I really liked that I felt like Veronica was proposing was that, yes, your nature, your genes have a lot to do with who you are, and your upbringing and your environmental factors and what you're exposed to as a human being. That's important. Those are very important in making the person that you are. But at the end of the day, you always have a choice. And Triss made her choice. And it was awesome. And it was heartbreaking, and it wasn't fair. But It needed to be made. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'm sorry it was kind of depressing, but blame Veronica Roth. No, I'm just kidding. Don't blame Veronica Roth. She did a fantastic job. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what other books do you guys want me to review. I just feel like I'm kind of like shooting off in the dark right now. So if you could help orient me, we could do some really good stuff together. Like, I don't know, make some book magic.